Yeah, no.
Wing King?
I got those Texas Twinkies.
Ooh.
Just jalapenos with shredded pork, cream cheese. Cheese cream.
Cream cheese.
Cheese creams.
Cheese and creams.
And then bacon and then like a jelly or something. And I think they're smoked.
Brandon! Hey! Say hi to Brandon.
I ate 2 of those for breakfast this morning.
Burn you up?
Oh, jeez.
Yep.
That's a bad idea.
That was heavy. And it still is.
Yeah.
My tummy hurts. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. You can only eat so many Cheems Keems in a day.
God.
Well, on that note,
Anyway.
I guess we'll get back to Tyler's drama.
Yeah, we're back.
Yeah.
Because you got plenty as well.
Yeah. I guess we could kind of start at the beginning of
Beginning of time.
the summer. kind of about where you picked up to. So
you mean towards the end of summer?
Halfway through the
Okay,
summer.
fine,
End of July. Beginning of August.
So since our children's baptism.
Yep. So since then, I think completely blocked. I did receive a call from a text from my ex last week that my oldest broke her wrist. I was like, I texted her back, so I want to talk to her. She called me back actually about 5-10 minutes later, 15 minutes. And I talked to her for a few minutes. That was nice. I hadn't talked to either of my kids since July. And she started off
Well, they talked to you one time, but it was their mom put them up to it, saying you needed to send money.
True.
Money you had already sent.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I guess I should.
Maybe I shouldn't talk about that.
Well, no, I'm definitely going to bring that up. Good call. Jesus.
So that was
that was a pretty significant thing, and that's how much has gone on this summer that I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that whole fucking restraining order that I filed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so last
as far as a real conversation with your children, yes, it's been a very, very long time.
Yeah, and so honestly, I don't remember the last time I had a real conversation with. I mean, it's been child.
Beep.
What? You can't say the kids' names?
It's all right.
No, they're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that. So
I guess
we'll see. Anyway, so
but hey,
I hadn't had
an hour and 11 minutes in. Hey, 111. Ooh, what are my numbers? Before we had to do that. Anyway, that's a huge improvement for us.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
To get this far in the conversation.
Yeah.
All
right.
First time we're going to beat. Okay.
So first time I'd had a good conversation with her in a long time. Started off like really reserved. I was like, she had just come from like breaking her wrist, skateboarding with her friends. I was like, hey, so how you doing? Okay. I heard you had a little accident tonight. Yep. How you doing? Fine. Like it's just like pulling teeth, like what happened, and then she, I don't know, I think it was almost like when I started expressing interest in what she was doing, that happened, then she started just like telling the story. And then she just like started talking and it went well. Like we had a decent conversation for a little bit. She's like, oh yeah, I was with my friends at the skate park and we were trying to learn how to drop into the bowl and like just, it's like I leaned back too far.
Yeah. Let's put the hand down.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. Like, like that's what happens.
Yeah.
So like we had a cool little talk for a little bit and I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. And so, but it was just like, it was great. And then I was like, I miss you guys, love you. I was kind of trying to get a hold of your sister a little bit ago too. Maybe meet up with you guys and have some ice cream or see a movie or something. And immediately just like, I don't know, maybe, I'm really busy like with work and I work every weekend. I don't know when I'd really have time. And like, okay, well, do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? And no. Like, all right. And that was it. So like started like really reserved and then was pretty good. And then as soon as I brought up like, hey, maybe let's hang out and get some ice cream or something.
But you did good, not pressuring, not insisting. You said it once.
Yeah.
And just kind Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, you could be a dick.
Yeah.
Be like, I'm your father. You are going to get fucking lunch with me. No.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
That's not going to do it.
But it's not going to
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That is right. But it's just, And even I was thinking about it earlier because I've got court coming up this coming week. And I was thinking about, like, I finally, what I put in the last,
the
last filing. Yeah. So the last filing that I did.
Which I served.
Yep.
By mail.
That was fun. Good work.
Teamwork. He serves my stuff. So.
Yeah. So,
anyway, sorry. It was inappropriate, but
that was
sorry if that offends someone. Anyway.
Honestly, that offends someone, they can get fucked.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe be fair.
We know that our your children listen to this sometimes.
Yeah. So
that is true.
I don't know. I imagine mine will at some point.
Yeah. So anyway.
So on that note.
But
so
that's
what you put on your last filing.
Yeah,
I cut you off. Sorry.
No.
Proceed.
So I had kind of left it at, you know what, just let my ex have physical custody. We split the legal custody. That means we can still, like all major decisions, whether schooling, religion, health, doesn't matter. That's made jointly. Physical custody goes to her. Parenting time goes to her. And then I was like, no, you know what? Fuck it. At the very least, I am their father, so I'm going to request at least some parenting time with them, whether that'll ever enforce or not, whatever. At least I'm throwing it out there. And I can even acknowledge at the hearing, like, I understand this probably isn't real enforceable, but this is what I feel is at least fair.
Because of their ages.
Right, because of their ages. Because it's not like they can be strapped in car seats and, like, delivered to me.
Right.
You know, it's like if they go, I don't want to go to dad's.
Yeah.
What the fuck is somebody going to do?
Right.
You can't be like, get in your goddamn car and drive to your dad's right now. Like, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
But I figured at the very least, I would like 1 weekend a month. And during the summer, I would like 1 week per month. And I'm like, feel like that's
super
fair.
Reasonable.
So
extremely reasonable.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I feel like that was the bare minimum that at least it shows them like, no, I really want you guys with me. And, you know, hopefully they figure it out.
Yeah.
So, but that's kind of where that's at. That hearing is coming up this next week, here in a few days, early this week.
Mm-hmm. It's been nice, too, that my former attorney, when I was going through a major legal battle about 2.5 years ago, longer than that, by the time I wrapped up, it was about 2.5 years ago.
Yep.
I'm still friends with her on Facebook, and we keep in contact. She doesn't live in the state anymore. She's not my attorney anymore. But she was willing to answer a few questions here and there. And then we sent her a gift card as a thank you.
Yeah.
But that's been helpful for just like the little questions. Because like I felt like I was hitting dead ends everywhere I went to try to talk to an attorney. It's just ridiculous. I'm like, okay, apparently I'm supposed to be representing myself. Apparently. Like, I give up. But then, you know, at least we've been able to ask some minor questions.
Yeah, just bounce things up.
Yeah, where it's just a quick question to my, my former attorney.
So
thank you.
I was going to say, won't say your name here, but if you happen to be listening, much appreciated.
Yes, thank you. So, yeah, what's your, I don't have much left.
Well,
that was gross. No thanks.
Fuck you.
Let me try the other one. We have one more.
Mm-hmm. Pam's gonna be so pissed.
Why? Because you drank all the coffee ones?
No, because I got coffee bender.
Oh, because it's surly. I didn't even see that. Yeah.
I hadn't had a coffee bender in a while. So
okay, we'll keep going.
Anyway, so I have that hearing coming up this week. It's a little bit ambiguous as to whether it's going to be like the hearing, or if it's just to schedule the hearing. Oh
my God, can we get this over with?
Right. I'm like, if it's just the fucking schedule, I'm going to be pissed. All right, we'll schedule this thing for next August. Fuck you.
Next August. Yeah.
No, I mean, I would still even have to imagine at worst it's going to be probably still before end of the year. Like even if it was just like a scheduling,
like December or something.
Yeah.
This one isn't too bad, by the way. This beer that
Surly
coffee bender, brown ale with coffee added.
Yeah.
So is that actually got caffeine in it?
It actually might have just a touch.
If it has coffee added,
Like it has just a little bit.
Nice. Those are the best kinds of beers because
Yeah.
you can drink them, and then while you're getting drunk, you still
you got first in your downers.
You're getting worked up. Yep.
Rich,
Bang.
malty, roasty.
Oof.
It's true. I agree.
It is really good. Yeah. I haven't had one of those in a long time. Looking forward to that later. I'll try that.
It reminds me of like a roasted bean candy, like a roasted coffee bean that has like chocolate over or something.
Those
They just eat like the straight up coffee bean.
Like a
Reminds me of that
chocolate
bit.
covered espresso bean or something.
Yeah, there you go. See,
Yeah.
see, this is why we kind of work. It's like spelling blah.
I know what you're talking
like
about.
I described,
Espresso.
and he just goes, "You mean this?"
Yeah, this thing.
And just cuts right through it, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." Super frustrating. But I think like that. God damn.
Ugh.
That's kind of how Pan and I work too. But I'm you in the relationship. Oh, this thing we did this the other day, and she's like, "No, we didn't." Yeah, we did. She's like, "No."
Well, I mean, I can be that with Tyler.
Yeah, that's
The correcting of facts and how things went in sequence. I just can't get my words out.
yeah.
I'd be like, this thing. I describe the thing.
Pan always goes like this to me. Yeah, okay.
I've
Get
seen
it out.
that.
I'm like, I can't. I'm frozen. Can't
Like
do
we
it.
discussed in the mini
Seized up.
episode, like I mentioned in the mini episode, like we had been talking even around that time that I remember I just like randomly just turned to you and said, "Do you ever think in pictures or something like that?" Because that's how I think.
Yeah.
I've always had this picture in my brain, and I'm always left figuring out how to describe that picture or feeling in words. And I can't find the words. I'm like, "How do you think?" And he's like, "More dialogue." I'm like, "How? How do people do that? Like, really?"
As I'm talking, like I can just visualize the conversation coming in my head.
mine's just a picture, and I'm like left with like, explain that picture.
Like I know where this conversation's going. Like it just kind of, I don't know.
I just want to open up my brain. Ta-da! Here you go.
Mine's pretty much just like, like how when you're driving to work and it's super heavy fog and you can't see anything. That's my brain.
Yeah. Mine
It's
does,
like you're just
mine
kind of
does
like,
that too.
I'm going, but I don't know.
I have those moments for sure.
Yeah, no. It gets foggier at some times
Right.
and other times.
I hate when it's
I think
foggy
actually,
and I'm
yeah.
trying to do my job. Like fogging my brain when I'm trying to do my job. It's like,
God, that was Tuesday. None of us were. Yeah, no, it's just hard.
mm-hmm.
I did a lot of work this week. It was not fun either.
Bummer.
Just not fun work.
Yeah.
Sorry, I derailed this again. Where were we?
Well, no,
court.
yeah.
Okay, so court.
Right.
Anyway, so that's coming to this week. What else with that?
We talked about my former attorney.
Yep.
You talked about your amended
Yeah.
court stuff.
Are we to me now?
We didn't talk about
your new job.
we didn't talk about work.
We didn't talk about you.
So
job.
So started a new job just a couple weeks ago. The
They called me.
13th.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it was the other one that called me, wasn't it? Call me at
Yeah, I
work.
can't remember which one it was.
Oh, you're the
Uh,
reference?
I
Yeah,
think
it was
so.
the reference.
It might have been. Yeah, so maybe you're the one that fucked the other one up.
Well, no, it ended pretty good.
Okay.
She was pretty happy.
Anyway, no, I had applied at 2 different companies, just kind of unexpectedly too, and I kind of felt bad for my boss at the company that I was at before because I hadn't. So maybe I shouldn't feel bad, but I hadn't gotten a raise like since I'd started there, and I was coming up on 3 years. Not that I was paid fairly well, but you feel a little bit appreciated if you get a little bump every now and again. And I had just gotten a raise, and I was like, all right. So I kind of opened up a little bit with him. I was like, hey, just so you know, and I kind of sugarcoated. I was like, hey, I'm thinking about maybe going back to school and going into this, which realistically I was just getting ready to start my second year. Yeah, start my second year. But I was still legitimately like, hey, that's probably a couple years out if, I start looking for work in that field. So we're good. I was like, okay, great. Well, thanks. And it was like within a week or two, probably a couple weeks, that I started seeing like ads for mental health jobs. And I'm like, fuck. And so anyway, I was like, all right.
I was like, do it.
Yeah.
Go apply.
So
get your foot in the door.
Yep.
Do it. Do it.
So I applied at a couple and interviewed with a couple. I think both interviews seemed to go well, but I ended up ultimately getting hired with one of them and started there 3 weeks ago. November 13th.
It's really this
September
weird. Like
13th.
Everything was just like imploding all at once. It was like hearings, changing a job, kids starting school, the court stuff. Like it was just oh my goodness.
Did the lady did the one lady say anything to you about your diet? What? She called me. What? She called me at work and she's asking me questions about Tyler, and I'm like, who? What? I said I know a lot of Tylers. Who are you? And she said who she was. She's like, Tyler Ahrens. I was like, oh, Ahrens. Yeah. Okay. What is this for? She okay, I'm a reference. It took a while.
Yep.
But she said something like, is he like a healthy individual or something like that? And I was like, well, I guess he could have a little bit better of a diet. And she goes, no, I mean like mentally and emotionally. I was like, oh, yeah, he's fine. Tell him I said that about his diet, though. I will.
God, I wish I knew if that was the one. I'm going to have to call. God, who would that?
Now we know the rest of the story.
I know who to call on Monday to see if that's the company that I am working for now, or it was the other one. But
she had an accent. It was kind of hard to tell what kind of accent, though. It sounded Indian?
No, this would not have been. Nope, that wouldn't have been anybody from my company.
Yeah.
Because we're a very small company.
Oh, yeah.
But I've only been there like 2-3 weeks. I know everyone, I think. So
I don't know if you want to.
So yeah,
if you want to bring up the one, there's an interesting connection. I don't know if that's something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just don't use names, I guess,
for sure.
or like.
She'll appreciate it. I mean, we even talked about.
Okay, well, I don't know how she feels about it. I want to respect.
Yeah, they'll be fine. But anyway, no. So I did. I started a new job as a adult rehabilitative mental health services worker for right now, and essentially I do just basic living skills. I mean, I might even help with like getting transportation to appointments or finding you a caseworker and whatever. Just like doing like every day-to-day shit, helping them with those things, and then until I do these clinicals that I have coming up in December. After that, then I move into a clinical trainee role, and that's when my actual internship hours start, and I start doing just like direct therapy. So yeah, that is about 3 months out. Then I'll just kind of transition into just a straight therapy route.
You did it.
Thank you.
It's all happening so fast.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so that's why I kind of felt bad for my boss. I was like, shit. So like I gave him a resignation letter. I was like, hey, this kind of went a whole lot quicker than I anticipated. We're probably talking 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks after I'd gotten a raise. Yeah. And I told him like, hey, I don't really have anything probably for a couple of years coming down the line. And I was like, I didn't lie to you. It just kind of happened. And so, but anyway, no, I mean, we left on good terms. But yeah, it's been interesting. It's been cool. This past week, I've started seeing clients on my own. So visiting them throughout kind of a wide area. I'm doing a lot of driving. And so kind of trying to figure out how we can balance like our schedule so that when you're working, I'm able to work from home.
I drive a long ways for my job currently, but that's also in the middle of shifting around with my job.
So, so like we're kind of trying to balance that out so that when if you're not going to be home until later, like I can at least be home earlier or work from home throughout the day. And then days that you're at home, then I can take appointments and be with clients, a little bit later. Mm-hmm. So we're just kind of trying to figure that out right now.
So basically, someone's around for the kids and schoolwork and chores and
getting supper started and supper. But so that's kind of where that's at. And what was I going to say? There's something about And so, interestingly enough, I'd started seeing clients on my own, but I was like shadowing different of the practitioners that I work with, just, going with them on their clients to kind of get a feel for it. And so now I've started seeing my own, and this other worker was going to transfer one of their clients to me. So like, hey, come along with me on this session, and then we'll kind of do a little introduction. And so, HIPAA. 1 second. Let's see.
Think it through.
Right. So essentially, we ended up having this conversation where, at the end, this coworker of mine said that she was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and I kind of, what? Really?
It came out during the session.
During the session with this
maybe
client.
You said that, I'd hear it.
Well, I might not have gotten it like directly, but this was in the middle of this session. In talking with this client, she was filling out paperwork, and I was just kind of building a relationship with the client, just talking. And I asked him a little bit about his surroundings and beliefs and backgrounds and things of that nature. And religion was lightly discussed, and so he talked about his religious beliefs slightly, and then my coworker expressed like, oh, well, I was raised as one of Jehovah's Witnesses. To which I responded, the fuck? So she was, and even the client kind of just like, just kind of like dropped his jaw that her and I were like, wait, what? And she's like, we have things to talk about, and we did. So when that got done, we actually went to lunch, and she's like, "Oh, you're going through a divorce right now." Yep. Is she still in the cult? Yep. Oh, and your kids? Oh, like things just started clicking, because even the previous week we have like our group supervision meetings, and we sit there and we talk just kind of about what's going on in our lives. And I had said I'm going through court, through a divorce hearing with my ex, and it's really complicated because of some religious issues. And so now, like, all of a sudden, it's just like, oh, shit. Like, she understands right away. And she's like, it all makes sense. And so we started talking, and, like, I know the congregation. She knows the congregation. Like, we know a lot of the same people. Yeah. It turns out
goats from a relative.
Ethan buys goats from John.
We do.
Yeah.
Wow, it's a small world.
Yeah. I actually.
Her cousin is like our age.
Yeah, like we used.
So I knew her cousin.
Yeah.
Because she's younger than us, the one you're talking about.
Yes. Yeah. This worker of mine's like 11. Coworker of mine's like 11, 12 years younger. And she always looked up to this cousin as more of like an aunt to her. And
the ones that we know.
The one we know.
Yeah.
And so, like, we're like that age. Yeah. My ex and my coworker's cousin, second cousin, aunt, like, we used to hang out. So, yeah. Very interesting. We know a lot of the same people. She sent me a picture of, like, a mutual friend that I remember from back then. I was like, oh, shit, yeah, that's this guy.
Mm-hmm.
And we both recognized the other guy, and then I put it together. I was like, oh, this guy, he's been disfellowshipped for years, but both of his sisters were in the delivery room when both of my daughters were born.
Well, the one works as a doula.
One of them is a doula.
He used to be a baker, and then I remember became a doula.
Yep.
And that's kind of when I lost contact.
And now I think she's a legal assistant.
Well, hey, that's cool.
I think that's what she did. Well, I think she was like a legal assistant while she was going to school to be a doula or something like that.
Maybe.
But anyway. Yeah. So I was like, holy shit, that's this guy. And she's like, yeah, that sounds like, fuck. So small world. So yeah, if we get that kind of little meetup we were talking about, I'm definitely going to bring it up to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, they might be down for it. So, be cool. But yeah, so I'm enjoying that a lot. It seems to be going well. I got an email from my boss Saturday. So yesterday, end of the day yesterday, that, like kind of when you're like new at something, you're like, wait, how bad did I fuck that up? And like, you're trying to figure out like what you did wrong. And like my boss, she's like, you're doing great. Like, I'm impressed. You're catching on well. Like, here's my couple of thoughts for the week. Have a good weekend. And I was like, oh, okay, fine. So maybe I'm not fucking up. But,
Nice.
you know, seems to be, I don't know, seems to be a decent fit. Yeah.
Okay.
And it leads into what I want to do, specifically doing therapy.
No.
So it's going to work out well in that regard.
Is this the one where with this job, there was the two companies you had kind of narrowed down to.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the one that eventually you can start your own kind of like support group kind of thing, and you can focus on whatever you want?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's a natural lead into exactly what you want to be doing.
Yeah. Like before.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Like in basically their, hey, come work for us pitch. It was like, we'll give you some hours every week to build your own discussion, like your own group. Is there any particular group or demographic that you'd like to work with directly? And I'm like,
yeah.
Let me think.
Give me 1 second.
Right. So yeah, and like they're willing to give me like time, I think paid, to like conduct groups and shit.
Fuck yeah.
So like when we go to a meetup,
you can get paid for that?
right? So
damn, what am I doing? I get a cut.
All right, fine. I'll buy the first round.
Okay. That's
so, but no, like legitimately, like it's kind of for the networking and community building and like the social aspect of it. Like, yeah, I legitimately like it. Bill it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Cool.
So that'll be a little ways down the road. I don't know if that will be able to happen until I get those clinicals done in December.
Probably.
I'm not sure how that's going to run, but whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
I would say at the very least by like next spring, it'll start to become like a very real possibility. It's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Maybe 6 months to kind of get at a point where things are, like, yep, let's tackle that.
Well, hopefully 2022 is just glorious.
Right.
Hopefully it's all ups.
Oh, we get like invaded on like New Year's.
Right.
Oh, God.
North Korea marches in.
Yeah, right. They would not make it onto the
They got
grass,
tunnels. They got tunnels coming in. No.
All right.
We're gonna get off the rails.
Yeah.
When we were going to, we have.
We've been like hanging on the rail. We've been doing all right.
It's
like roadside. We still got a wheel on.
Right, we're leaning now. We're pulling back.
Right.
But no. So that's that. And
Is that kind of? I don't know if you want to talk about the harassment. You never heard back from that.
I
realize you haven't heard back.
I still need to call them back. God damn it. So So again, that was actually the second time that I had spoken to my oldest since like I was basically blocked. And my ex was calling for money for a couple of different things, one of which she was not at all entitled to. And I had paid her half already. She just wanted more. And the other that I had already paid her. No. And so she's like texting me, pay me my money now, ! Like emailing me, fucking harassing me back and forth. And
I contacted your job too.
Yeah, called my work.
Did start having your girl or your daughter call you for her.
Yeah, so then like it finally culminated one night. I was on my way home from work and my ex she had tried to call me earlier in the day. And when I saw it coming through, I just let it go to voicemail. Like just left it alone, let it go to voicemail. And then
when you repeatedly told her you need to contact me through email if it's an emergency, text or something. I don't know. Yeah,
you can contact me by text if it's an emergency.
And ever since it seems like you got your divorce papers, she just texts. Majority of the time.
She doesn't care now. Yeah, I was actually looking back now. I haven't had a.
I shouldn't speak for you. Sorry.
No, you're good. I was actually emailed earlier today, I think, and aside from this last little couple days, I was talking to her about my daughter with her broken wrist. Aside from that, I haven't seen an email from her since like July 7th, July 15th.
Plenty of text messages, though.
Plenty of text messages, to which I filed a harassment restraining order against her. I was like, this is fucking enough. When she started having my so anyway, the before the broken wrist incident, the last time that I talked to my kids was when my ex was having them call me because she knew I would pick up, and I did. And then it was, Mom needs you to send child support and something else. I was like, no, you can let your mother know I've already sent that. Sorry she's bothering you with this. And then I hear my ex yelling in the background, and then I'm like, nope, done. It's like, hang up. Phone rings a minute later from my daughter. Hello, it's my ex. Yelling at me, you, blah, blah, blah. Nope, not doing that. So I filed a harassment restraining order. That's when I was talking about that America bird that got hit on the side of the road.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to file that. And I got an email back from the court administrator like an hour and a half later.
It was super fast.
It was within 2 hours of filing this thing that I got the ruling that, nope, denied. And basically, we're not going to hear about this again. It's all being thrown away. You're not hearing anything. And I specifically checked the box that says, I don't want a hearing, but if this is denied, then I want a hearing. So where's my fucking hearing?
Right.
And I called the court administrator back, and I was like, hey, first name, basically, what the fuck? And she was like, I don't get it either. She's like, even with just the evidence that you provided, there's no way that he could have gone through that filing in an hour and ruled on that. She's like, I'm actually just as confused as you are. I will email him and get back to you. She's like, I might not get back to you today. Is it all right if I get back to you tomorrow? That's been 3 weeks. I think.
Yeah, and we've been so busy. We haven't had time to follow up on that.
Yeah.
So we need to follow up.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I barely had the time to follow up on my final paycheck for my other job that I thought was fucked up. It's not, I guess. They explained it, and okay, sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I forgot I talked to them the other day.
Oh, I'm glad we're catching up. Live like this. No. Okay.
Anyway, so I was like, no, that's ridiculous. If it's going to come to the point where she's texting and calling and yelling and using my kids to manipulate me into getting on a phone call, that's it. It's enough.
You think it's your fucking kid calling you?
Right.
But you
of course I'm going to answer
July.
the goddamn phone. No, of course she knows I'm going to answer.
I'm related to her. I can say that. Fuck you. Don't do that shit. That's fucked up. Just don't do it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Jesus Christ.
Figured it.
I hope she watches this. God damn it. Oh, it's not cool, dude.
No.
Like, fuck that.
Yeah. So, I just, that was the kind of the last straw. And I'm like, and it's not even because, like, I necessarily want to be vindictive, but at the same time, like, even in the papers that she filed, it flat out says neither party is allowed to harass the other during these proceedings. Like, it flat out says you can't do that. And I'm messaging her back, stop harassing me.
Wasn't the same day she got filed those papers originally, she started harassing you?
It was within hours. Like, we gave them to my brother.
Mm-hmm.
I think you were there. We gave them to my brother.
There.
Yep. And then
we were finishing getting some stuff from your place.
We were getting the last of my stuff. So we pulled in, handed the papers to my brother. My ex pulled in. He served her papers. And, we weren't home.
Yeah, we weren't even back home yet.
And she was texting me like, well, there's some things that we're just going to have to discuss. I ain't discussing shit.
No. Discussing in court.
Like, the time for discussion was back in February when I was trying to discuss this. And you were like, no, I just want it done now. No, this is when we discussed. But if you didn't want to do that, now here's where we are. And I specifically told you what you're asking for is not in the best interest of the children, so I'm not going to do that. And if that's what you want, then you're going to have to pull that trigger. And so then you pulled that trigger. Like, she's the one that's drug her fucking feet.
Yeah.
And has brought it to where it is now. I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to still play respectful, but I don't have to play fucking nice.
No.
Like, that line has been crossed. And at this point, I'm just like, I want it done. I don't want to fuck around with it anymore. So, like, let's just get this done.
Yeah.
Anyway. 3 weeks passed. Wonder where the hell that is.
Yeah.
And again, hopefully this coming week, that's the end of that. Like I said, I think that's kind of where, I don't remember if that was before it cut off, but hopefully it's not just scheduling.
Yeah. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, we'll
Speaking of lines being crossed,
Yeah. Let's talk about.
I officially removed my parents from my life. Done.
You sent the letter?
Yep.
I didn't know you did that.
Yeah.
How does that feel? Probably
Well,
a bunch of different
bittersweet,
things. Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to hand deliver the letter, but I did. I did. I wrote it up, printed it out, put it in an envelope. And I was coming home one day, and I was like, well, I'm going to drive by their house. Whether or not they're home, I'm leaving it. They were not home. I brought a little pin just in case. I tacked it right to their fucking railing.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. It was just done. I'm done. I'm done with it. I mean, toxicity is toxicity.
Mm-hmm.
I understand.
Yeah, because, I mean, it all really started. Well, obviously, it started 7 years ago when I got fucking disfellowshipped, or even you can go beyond that. But me being over it started this year, I would say, when we got pregnant. I called him up to let him know. I knew it wasn't going to be like a great reaction. It was like, hey, you're going to be grandparents. There should be one reaction to that. I mean, it should be like, that's great.
Right.
That's all you got to say. I know you don't agree with it or whatever. Well, when are you getting married? That's what it was. That's all So I shouldn't have even called him. I should have just let it be. Then we have the miscarriage.
Mm-hmm.
And initially it was like, well, who the fuck do I call him? Dad? I'd call Dad, whatever. And I didn't know who to call, so I called him and talked to him. And I mean, yeah, initially he was very nice. And he was nice throughout the whole time, but then he started, I know I talked about this before, but then he started, like, he wanted to come over. He wanted me to meet him at the liquor store, which is, two blocks from my house.
Right. Actually ran into Brandon at the liquor store on the way over.
Just come here, like I'm home. You're driving. Come here. Well, okay, I'm out by your truck, which is way out in the back. Go talk to him. You want to come into the garage? I wouldn't even ask him to come into the house because that's apparently too far.
Right.
I think we better stay out here, blah, blah. I'm like, this is like one of the worst days of my life, and you're already being a dick and you're bringing me alcohol. What is the process here? So then he starts asking if he wants me to pray for him.
Yeah.
And no, I don't want anything to do with your religion. And I've made my decisions. I know more now than I ever have known. Oh, really? You do, huh? Like, yeah, I fucking do. I know more about your religion than you do. So he made a horrible day even fucking worse. After that happened, my grandmother died. That's right. We get pregnant. My grandma dies. Then we have the miscarriage. When my grandma died, I texted my mom, asking her to please let me know when they plan on burying my grandmother. I get to be there regardless of what your thoughts on me are. I don't care. I get to be at my grandmother's burial. And so they said, Mom said, well, we're planning on doing it in the spring. Spring comes and goes. And then I'm outside doing yard work, and I'm like, I haven't gotten I start seeing the flowers bloom, like the summer shit happening. I'm like, wait a second, it's summer. I have not received anything on when my grandma's being married. So I texted her, we were going to do it this date, the next fucking weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I got to ask, were you going to tell me? Well, I won't lie to you. There's been some serious discussion on whether or not you will be invited to your grandmother's burial. Blah, 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 blah. I don't give a fuck about the rest. Because apparently I had reached out to family members, and I was trying to get them to join my group.
Right.
I don't have a group.
Same bullshit that my ex was trying.
Right.
Mhm.
Have not reached out to any family members at all, besides Johnny and Aaron and
Yeah, I told her, like, in fact, like, a couple reached out to us to just like say hi. And shit.
Yeah.
I mean, literally not reached out to anyone.
No. I even still have family members on that side of the family friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like, to this
I've
day.
become friends with some of
I
them.
not reached out anyways. I was not having it. I could tell. She did say that her and Dad, they thought that I should be there. So that meant a lot. I get it. The rest of the family was the ones that didn't want to see me because of this supposed reaching out to a family member.
AKA this podcast.
Right. Yeah. So after that, I don't know. She told me when it was. They set aside an hour for me to come first before the rest of the family came. So Pan and I get dressed. I tell Pan, they gave me an hour. I'm planning on 10 minutes. I have nothing to say to them. I texted Dad the night before. I said, I have nothing to say to you. I don't know what you expect from me. If you feel like praying and all that, you can do that. That's fine. I'm not going to tell you can't indulge in your religious beliefs. But I have nothing to say. I've said what I needed to say to Grandma before she died. I want to come, see her be buried, and I will leave. That's it. That's exactly what I did. I showed up, said very little to them. They were obviously like, it's like, yeah, okay, whatever. I love you. No, you don't actually.
Right.
Otherwise, this wouldn't have happened.
Right.
So I grabbed a handful of my grandmother and threw it in a hole. Cool, because my mom gave me a cup. She's like, I don't know if you want to touch the ashes, just use a cup. And I was like, no, fuck that. I grabbed a whole handful of my grandma, and I put her down into the hole, and I grabbed a handful of my grandpa, put him down into the hole, and I said, see ya. Then I left. We left, and we went and got food, got brunch in Rochester.
Yeah.
That was the last time I spoke to him. After all of that, I decided I'm done with this. Fuck you guys. I'll always be here. I mean, I could read the fucking letter. Should I read I can find it.
That's up to you. What you feel?
I can read it. Yeah.
What you feel you want to do?
Let me find it here quick.
And like
that's part of your journey.
Yeah. Well, and we've even talked about it a little bit. It's kind of about where I've gotten even with my mother. Like, it's just at that point where I'm like, I don't care. Like, I somewhat reached out, almost, I don't even want to say like to spite her, but like almost just because like, no, fuck that. Like, that's my right. Like, to ask her for a couple of pictures and stuff that I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we left at. And she responded, oh yeah, that's something I can do that for. And I just said, yeah, thanks.
We saw my parents a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
At the farm.
Yep. And they seemed jovial and cordial enough as long as there were people around.
Yeah.
And then
also, like when we were leaving,
like
they offered us vegetables. They never want me to pay.
Yeah.
I get upset if I pay.
Thank you.
So thank you for that.
I made
But then
salsa.
I noticed, like, when we were leaving,
salsa.
all of a sudden they didn't really say goodbye.
You're pretty scared.
They were just kind of like gone.
Yeah.
And I was like, huh. And then I realized, there's no one around.
Yeah.
Before that, there was customers or volunteers, or I'm like, I wonder if there's a connection there. They just had to put on a show or something. Like, I don't know.
Probably.
I was like that stuff just doesn't really get to me anymore after all these years. But I kind of kept. I just kind of tried to keep it all separate for so long. So it's like I recovered from that a lot faster than I used to. That's something Tyler and I have talked about. Like, feels like he's trying to recover from those interactions a little faster.
Right, and I think you do because it's
with time.
It's like it's almost like a disconnect starts happening where it's like at first it's just your parents, it's your fucking parents, and then you start to realize that they're just these brainwashed people. They're not. I mean, they're still your parents, and I don't.
I was never close to my parents.
Well, but I was.
Like I said,
It's sad,
yeah,
like it's almost
I'll
not
be
even a
for,
person.
no, I'll be forever indebted to my parents for keeping me alive and raising me as an actually good person. Because I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I think if they weren't brainwashed, they would be great fucking people.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be great people. My whole family would be. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, they're a little stuck.
Yep.
But anyways, I decided it was time to be done. I just don't need it. It was causing more mental trauma than it was helping.
Do you feel like you were finding kind of your closure? Is that kind of what you
yeah. It was because I dabbled with the whole what do you call it? I forget the term now. When you remove family from you, like legally.
Oh, emancipation.
Emancipation, not emancipation, because I'm talking.
Yeah, sad all that. But
yeah, I can't think of the word right now, anyways. But
estranged? No, that can't be it.
It says the D.
Oh, so I can think it was disfellowship.
Disassociation.
What are G words?
Yeah, no.
I can think of others, but
yeah.
Anyway.
Anyways, well, just delete that whole part. Anyways,
we understand.
I settled with just writing him a letter explaining the new terms of our relationship. This is how it goes. So I wrote, "Dear Mother and Father, this may be the last time you hear from me. I had hoped, perhaps foolishly, that someday you might see the flaws in the way you have treated myself and Samantha, because that's been a big part of it, is the way they've treated her. She's never been a witness."
AKA
Pam.
Samantha's her real name.
They've probably never heard her referred to as Samantha on here. She's just Pam. God damn it, Pam.
Anyways, treated myself and Samantha over these last 7 years. That the method of shunning would bring no one any happiness and only cause a wider division between us. But sadly, after the way I've been treated recently, I see more clearly than ever where I stand on your totem pole. I understand you believe that you are doing the right thing and have my best interests at heart. For this, I do truly thank you. But what you view as loving is far from it. As you like to say, faith without works is dead. So is love. I have felt little of this from you, whom I care so deeply for over these past years. Aside from the material things you have given me, these things I have come to cherish. I'm sorry, I read that weird. Aside from the material things you have given me, these things I have come to cherish, which in turn saddens me because I am constantly reminded of the love lost of my parents. This life I have chosen has not been easy. Losing one's family and social structure they grew up with simply for changing their religious beliefs because they've grown as a human being is enough to drive someone to suicide. The only humor I find from this situation is the fact that I am still being held to a decision I had made when I was only 15, yet I was not allowed to drive until I was 17 because I was too immature. I was allowed to dedicate myself to a religion I was born into and knew nothing other than. With my superiors knowing full well I was never allowed to change my mind in the future or I would lose everyone I knew. But the overwhelming evidence showing I have made the right decision to stay removed from the organization has been greatly calming, even though it was painful to accept the things I have come to learn over this extended period. Fortunately for myself, my life is now full of family and true friends that love me completely and unconditionally. My mental health has never been better. My relationships have never been stronger. Sadly, the only thing that still weighs heavily on my mind is you. Our relationship has clearly been deteriorating for some time now. I have not been blind to this, and recently it has been far more toxic than anything else. It seems the only thing left for me to do is the last thing I ever wanted. I am officially removing myself and the ones I love from this awful situation for the sake of my mental health and dignity. I will no longer reach out to you to inform you of changes, address, phone, number, or anything of the like. Should Samantha become pregnant again, I will not contact you. Relationships with my future children will be reserved to those that have willingly chosen to be an active part in our lives. If something horrible happens, like the miscarriage earlier in the year, I will not seek comfort in you. Since the last time I did, it only proved to make the situation far worse. Sam and I are getting married June 11th. Maybe I should say June 11th, 2022 at Edgewood Farms, North End, whatever. You will not be receiving an invitation. If for some crazy reason you decide to show up, accommodations will be made, though I do not plan on it. I take no pleasure in writing this letter to you, and it is by far the hardest thing I have had to do in my life.
Sorry, we're going to turn off the...
My love for you has never wavered and will always be strong. My door is always open to you, as it always has been. I will never turn you away, but I am done. I am tired. I am defeated. I will no longer cling to the idea that we have a relationship, to the hope that you might one day wake up. So for what it's worth, I hope your lives are full of true love and happiness for the remainder of your years. I hope no harm or sadness comes your way, and that you achieve everything you set out to do. I love you more than you will ever know. Sincerely, your boy, Ethan.
Very nicely said. I'm here for you.
And that's why I could do it. Because I got friends. I got family that I don't have to try and have. You know.
You can create your own.
Yeah. You have to.
Mm-hmm.
You have to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, it comes with the life, I guess. You got to make tough decisions at some point. And I mean, you can make those tough decisions, and you can not face them. You can just fade away, but it's not okay to treat somebody like that, especially your child. And you need to know that. It's kind of like you said earlier, the line needs to be drawn somewhere. So here it is. It's right there. Mm-hmm. If they knocked on my door tomorrow, they can come in.
Yeah.
I hold nothing against them, but I owe nothing to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I think we've all dealt with some major severing of major relationships this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All in different ways.
Right.
I feel like it all kind of comes down to the same. It's life changing, for sure, but trying to build a new life, another level, trying to accept.
Accept is bad because the life's
accept
already
the changes.
been built.
Yeah. Trying to accept the changes and
we're here, but
the path that life is taking. Yeah, I do. I feel like all three of us have faced some gut-wrenching changes this year. And life does that, right? Yeah.
At least in my case, I think the Jehovah's Witness gut-wrenching life changes are, for the most part, over.
Yeah.
I think that was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that's the last one. 7 years out, I should be done with that shit.
Yeah, you and I even had a conversation about that a little bit, like the last week or so. Like it was just kind of like, fucking
right. It's almost exhausting.
Well, yeah, and like we said, it's like it's almost like why willingly like re-traumatize yourself over it. Like at a point, it's just like you know what? I don't.
There's different stages to the healing of all this. There's different stages, and I feel like even this podcast has followed that, kind of taken that journey
for sure
with it, and we'll keep changing and flowing. I mean, like I feel like there's even somewhat of a rebirth of podcast stuff. Even like it's just kind of a different feel for us now that we had this longer break. We've been through all this stuff, and so that's something that I know we're going to be discussing as well. Is like. What do we change or do moving forward with even this, you know?
Right.
what we want to present, what we want to do, what we want to, because like everything is, and I didn't mean to segue it that way, but just
What can I tell you about?
because I think we're all entering a new chapter as well, just in general, and that's reflected even in the podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just us talking mostly, you know.
Well, you
talked
about, you and I earlier this week too. It was just kind of like, it's been like a break, and it's been like, fuck, we need to get back, and we need to record, and we need to do this. But, you know, you and I had even talked, like, it's kind of been like a break that just people kind of needed. Like, it's been like,
we needed it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's to where, like, it's like, yeah, like, we want to record and we want to do this shit, and it's like, but
it's hard.
Kind of like I said, it's like, didn't really have like the mental headspace for it at the moment, and so like that's kind of where this is at. Like, it's finally like,
I think it's going to the next level.
Fuck it, let's relax. Let's have a couple drinks and just sit here and bullshit and Catsup.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see how this goes going forward, and like we talked about, I still would like to do an episode with the partners and significant others of those that are dealing with those that are ex-members. Get their perspective. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. And they've expressed interest and stuff, so like it's cool. Like, it's just a matter of just like coordinating.
And I think there'll be some stories still coming through.
I commented earlier on the way here, like I might even bring up to my coworker if they're interested in joining that conversation. Like, that could be an interesting conversation for them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's something my sister would ever be interested in as well. She has a hell of a story.
Sure.
A hell of a story. My sister does, but she wasn't baptized. But it's been just bonkers for her as she tried to leave too, which I think some people would find really interesting. But I don't know if she's ready for that either. We'll see.
Yeah.
And you know, and then also like you were talking about, you have a segment that you kind of want to.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of dark stuff we have to cover in this podcast, and you know, we rag on the witness community a lot, Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, whatever. But the one thing that I actually do kind of miss is the awake from when we were young. I don't know what the hell it is now, but when I was forced to study, I would always grab an awake, because it was at least you could kind of get rid of the let's thank our grand creator for the fact that butterflies start as caterpillars and turn into these cocoons. It would actually teach you something, be it random or not, some actual cool knowledge, you know, about space or just creation in general, right? So I figured, well, why not just learn something random every time we do a podcast? I mean, I'm full of random.
Yes, you are.
I'll tell you as much random shit as you want. Mm-hmm. But I thought, since it's fall now, wasps are really bad, right? You guys want to learn a little bit why wasps are really bad this time of year? Finally, we always talk about it, but we never really.
I think I have an inkling, but go ahead.
Oh, let me hear you.
No.
Okay.
No.
Well, okay, so.
Tell me about it.
The wasp life cycle is about a year, right? So they sit there, they take care of these little baby wasps, hanging upside down, and they bring them mostly proteins, little bugs and whatever, because that's what the babies eat. But the babies secrete a sugar, and that's what the wasps eat. So it's pretty fucked up. They're sucking on the babies while the babies are eating. Anyways. Sorry, just got a weird mental image. Anyways, once the babies are all grown up, the adult wasps have kind of finished their life cycles. They turn to flowers, feeders, things like that for their sugar. But then come fall, all the flowers have died, all the natural sugar has gone away. Their babies are grown, so they can't suck them. So the nearest sugar source is beers and fermenting fruits that have fallen from the trees. They're never picked. They're fallen. They're rotten. So they go eat these sugars, and in the meantime, they're eating alcohol. They're taking in alcohol, which makes them ornery. So now they're going to go to the next. They're going to find you at the nearest beer garden. They fly into your cup when you're not looking. They drink this alcohol. They're more likely to sting you now because you're holding on to their food source, right? They're gonna invade your picnics with your watermelon. They're gonna suck on your hummingbird feeders. They're gonna be there. They're gonna be mad. That's why wasps are ornery in the fall. Plus, they're dying. Huh. There you go. Now you know.
Got a little learning.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You don't have to think about it anymore. That
It
doesn't.
was really
That
heavily
doesn't
in my mind.
Yeah. I was like, you know what? I
Yeah,
always
but
wanted to know.
next time
Why are
somebody
wasps so
says,
fucking ornery in the fall?
next time somebody says at the cash register and seeing a supplier or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that,
You ever notice
they're
that?
like, oh man, the wasps are really bad this time of year. Aren't they? They're really bad. Well, let me tell you. Because
Thankfully,
they're getting
Ethan.
alcohols and sugars mixed up, you know, and then they get ornery because they get affected just like we do.
Interesting.
Although I don't get ornery when I'm.
Yeah, I'm not an ornery drunk.
If I had a stinger, I wouldn't sting it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I mean, so in the
I'm a
end,
lover, not a fighter.
in the end, the wasps are still assholes.
Yeah. Fuck wasps.
Cool. So it doesn't explain an experience that I've had though in Canada this time of year. You would we were fishing off of old train tracks that cut across the lake.
Like a trestle?
Yeah, a train trestle.
All right.
We'd pull the walleyes up, throw them up onto the train trestle.
Yeah.
And by the time it was time to go collect them, covered in hornets. Completely covered. And they're not eating the fish, just the slime.
Mm.
So does that mean that fish slime is sugary?
Must be.
Yeah.
Must have fructose
Yeah.
in it of some kind.
That'll be
That's interesting.
next time's learning.
Yeah,
There we
we need to
go.
look into that.
I'll find out. I'll fucking find out.
Oh,
I
was
got,
gonna
I got
teach you
stung
about
like
that.
right in the middle of the ear with a fucking wasp. Knocked me off a ladder.
Can I share one more because I feel like you would like this one since you're
Okay.
in the medical field.
Like learning shit.
All right.
I read this article and I forget the actual terminology. Got it.
Speaking of bugs, just like a bug flying around,
Yeah.
fruit fly or something.
I got one. But anyways, I don't remember I don't remember the actual terminology, but there was this guy who was put into a medically induced coma because he was an addict or whatever. And after he got woken up, he came back 2 years later with this information. Every time he would climax, a large amount of semen would come out of his rectum. Including blood in his urine, a lot of blood in his urine. 2 years he let this go on. Turns out, when he was in the coma, the catheter was inserted, and the hole had been punctured between his lower urinal tract and his colon, which you can find in prostate cancer patients, things like that. 2 years.
Be like, look at this cool trick.
This came out my butt. What the?
Yeah, that's one kind of birth control.
So, yeah, if you weren't afraid of catheters before, man, wow.
I just get all these jokes just running through my head.
That's two things I learned this week.
Well, thank you for that.
So many things I want to say and not say.
I know, me too.
Oy.
Well,
Can you imagine reading that in a week? Well, I might still be a Jada.
this is a great way to end it.
Yes, I can't think of any better way to end it than that.
No.
Yeah.
I was going to mention, hey, we got our own writing territory letter a few weeks ago. I was like, hey, for the other.
Oh,
You
yeah.
finally got
I
one.
finally
They're
got
popping
one.
up everywhere.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I've gotten a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a bunch now?
Ones that I haven't picked up even.
Jesus.
By a bunch, I mean like maximum 3.
I have 0, so
No, not me.
oh.
No, just people that I know.
Oh gosh.
God.
This one was specific.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
us.
At our house to her.
Anyway,
Creepy.
We thought about responding, like just like
yeah, we thought about like
a link to the podcast or something.
like, hey, you might even know us.
My one friend was going to respond with her own letter. I don't know. Maybe she did. I should follow up because she's the type that would.
Oh yeah.
She was going to follow up. Yeah, I lived with a Jehovah's Witness, ex-Jehovah's Witness, and I know how you guys treat them and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, love your gay neighbor. I was like, do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely send that back. That would be hilarious. So I don't know if she did.
That would be fun.
Well, I still got some jokes rolling through my head with your little tidbit, so
yeah, it's super interesting. I mean,
I think it's a great place to
Titan this week. I learned stuff about Daniel Boone. You know,
Nice.
Yeah, he died in a tree.
What?
No one was around. They found a skeleton in a tree. Yeah.
Wow.
Broken ribs.
Jesus.
Huh.
Yeah.
What a way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, DB.
Yeah.
Here's to
Okay.
Daniel.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we have talked plenty.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So the next time, I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when the next time is going to be.
We'll try soon.
We'll come back.
Hopefully things are just kind of feels this round of wave upon wave upon wave is settling down.
Kind of settling.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well, Ethan sits there and
Gets them nips.
plays with his chest there. Right. Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
okay. Well,
chest tattoo idea. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
oh,
Oh, I decided. Go ahead. I decided to tattoo. Go for
okay.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk tattoos.
I'll
this
just
way.
Wrap it up.
Tell you guys.
Go ahead.
Well, I just see a really cool traditional, American classic style bison head on this dude's back. Chris something. I don't know. He's an artist. So I was like, man, that's fucking neat. Maybe I should get like a, not that traditional style, but like a mixture of traditional and realism bison head right on my fucking chest. And then I'll get Old Soul tattooed above it with the claws that I was planning on doing. The bobcat do claws right here in my neck. And then I don't know, I want to frame it in somehow, but I don't know how. I was thinking maybe like a prairie grass or something.
Oh.
And then maybe some black-eyed Susans with the droopy petals. So we'll figure it out. But I like the bison and the Old Soul idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I dig it.
Are you gonna have Arcadian do some of that, or
I was gonna pitch it there, but
Yeah.
gonna go give them $100, put down the deposit, and that'll be a consultation.
Yeah.
Because that's big.
Mhm.
Yeah.
My
Big
sister and I
investment.
want to get matching Hamza. That's how you say it.
Yeah.
Like the hand. Or lotus, maybe both. I don't know. I think we kind of agreed on basically a design. Now I'm trying to decide if I want it like on my chest.
Yeah, you were thinking kind of potentially
Or on
saying
my
like
back.
sternum or something.
Yeah.
We'll get a what?
I don't have
Like the 5-handed like Hamsa Indian symbol. Basically has like,
I know.
an eye in the middle
It's
of
like
it.
this
Yep.
or whatever. Yeah, I
Which
know.
made like the eye kind of look like a record player because I really liked that. My sister drew something like that for me a long time ago. But it was also based off an art piece I found online years ago. I've always liked it. The eye looks like a record player. And we both have blue eyes, so like, what if we make it blue eye but look like a record player? Maybe. Like, I don't know. We have like these ideas, but
Right.
it's coming together.
Pitch it to an artist. I'm sure they can kind of.
Yeah.
And then after her birthday last Saturday, I got up Sunday morning and I was just kind of
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah. So,
Nice.
short picture of
Yeah. so, and then after got up Sunday morning, I was just like making breakfast, and I'd kind of like walked to the window, just kind of looked outside to kind of see what it was like, and we had gotten a record on vacation, and it was just like I went to put it on last week. It's just fucked. Like the first half of the record like skips, and it's like, oh god damn it. So anyway, I'm gonna put it on Spotify. Like, You ain't gonna win. I'll fucking listen anyway. And I listened to that for like a few songs, and then it just made me think of like this old album that I hadn't listened to in like 25 years, I don't know, forever. But it was like the first album I bought. And it was an old Eric Clapton, old Eric Clapton.
Did get there?
We'll get there. It was a blues record from the Cradle, and I've always remembered this poem that's on the inside liner notes, and I was like, "Hey, that's going right here."
Thigh, right thigh. He's pointing to
Right thigh
for your audio listeners.
here.
That's her
Kind of. That's my right, son.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, continue.
So I'm gonna get that poem. All along this path I tread, my heart betrays my weary head, with nothing but my love to save from the cradle to the grave. So it's like, yeah.
You should get it written like vertical, each line.
Ooh,
That'd be kind of cool.
yeah, here, yeah.
I've also thought about getting a tattoo that says like has a Minnesota symbol on it and says say shh atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
You know, atmosphere song.
Oh yeah.
I always like
Yeah.
that song.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
That's the one I've thought of. And I also want the front and back of my journal. That's kind of my journey journal. One, I'm like top of my thighs. One side's a mandala, the other side's an elephant that's like Mandela style. With my thighs.
Fucking do it.
I thought those are my ideas too right now.
I'm coming to the conclusion. Well, I've come to this conclusion a long time ago. Not every tattoo can mean something.
Yeah.
As long as it's simple, just fucking get it and fill your body up. You got a lot more room than you think. That's what I'm finding out. I mean,
Yeah, that's just like the
My
latest.
sister
Like
has a
I
lot
have
of
ideas for
yeah.
like to start sleeving up both arms.
So when I was waking up the other morning, you know how you have those weird half awake dreams and thoughts and stuff? My thought was, well, wait, if I get a big bison head and all this stuff on my chest, it's going to look really weird when I get a Goofy Goober pin tattooed on my chest. I don't even know if Goofy Goobers have a pin, and I like SpongeBob, but not that much. It's the wildest, but I mean, you kind of get my point, I guess. Like, I guess if you do fill your body up with just random tattoos, is it going to flow very well? But at the same time, who cares?
Yeah.
I think you should do what
Whatever
makes
works.
you represent yourself
Right.
on your body.
Sporadic.
So I definitely lean the hippie way with
Get impulsive, get a dick butt.
I will. Don't dare me, dude. I will get a dick
I will get a matching dick butt with
on
you.
my butt. Not like I won't.
I don't know if I agree to this. I mean, I guess it's your body. Okay.
I'll get a matching dick butt.
Oh, but I'm gonna have to look at it.
Just we won't tell her when. We won't tell her when.
Okay.
Well, let's write this down.
All right.
I gotta
So,
pee again.
yeah.
Timer.
Here we are.
Okay.
Thank you, folks. Love you. Catsup 6 in the bag. New commercial.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Love you.